Hello, it's Denise with Minty Grey Mama, and I'm here today to do a deck collection video. I've really been enjoying watching people's deck collection videos, and I thought this would be a good way to kind of document the decks that I have right now, because my intention is to kind of go through them and hopefully maybe find a few to gift away and to sell, and you know, just make room in my collection for some new decks, and you know, ones that I'm not using as much as I might like to use them if I don't think that I'm going to get to it, maybe finding new homes for. So that is the plan. So this is going to be multiple parts. I honestly don't know how many decks I have, and so part of this is going to be, you know, for me, is counting my decks. I'm going to start with my tarot, and probably do a couple videos, and then do my oracle decks separately. So yeah, this first stack over here that I have are decks that I keep in one of my cabinets on my bookshelf, of decks that I have in my collection that I want to use, but they're just out of my regular rotation. So hopefully I'm going to add these in or find another home, but we'll see how that goes. So this is the World Spirit Tarot, 2nd edition, by Lauren Unsa O'Leary and Jessica Suzuka Godino. I just want to apologize for this entire video. My pronunciations are probably not going to be right for names and various things, and I do apologize, but in order to save time, I will just apologize this once, and hopefully that shall apply for the entire video. Now, this has like a really nice guidebook. It's actually signed by Unsa, and yeah, I think that it looks like such a fun deck. I saw this online and I thought it looked really interesting. These are the backs, and I got it, and just the coloration seemed a little dark, and so it just didn't end up making it into my regular rotation, but I'm really interested in trying to work with it some more. I like how it's kind of like tribal type art, and some of them, I don't know, like there's so much to like about it, but it's just, I have so many decks that this is just one that I haven't been able to get around to using as much as I want. So that is the World Spirit Tarot. And so this one actually was in that cabinet because I did use it a lot. This is the Navigators Tarot of the Mystic Sea by Julia A. Turk, if I'm not mistaken. I don't see her name on this box. I'm almost positive that's her name though, because I've been reading all of her books. Where? It's got to have her name in the book, right? Copyright 1997 by U.S. Games. What? Come on now. All right. Well, that's ridiculous, right? Her name should be on the box somewhere. I gotta just be missing it. Anyway, it's Julia A. Turk, I'm almost positive. It's crazy. All right. All right, so yeah, this is a really interesting deck, and I've talked a lot about this one, so I won't talk about it too much. But the meanings of these cards deviate from what I consider like standard, like Rider-Waite-Smith meanings, and so it was challenging to read about and to learn about and to work with in January. But the more that I worked with it, the more that I kind of started to appreciate it and learn about it, and yeah, like appreciate the artwork even more. Like even though the colors kind of threw me off when I first got it, like I started to appreciate it, and I'm in a place where I'm kind of fond of this deck now. We have some good memories together, and I'm still trying to get through her A Turk's her trilogy of fiction books about this deck, and I've read the first one, which I'm very proud of myself for finishing that, and I'm in the second one, and hopefully I will get through all of them. So yeah, so that's this one. So I plan on keeping this one and hopefully learning more about it. But it is very challenging because it's like different. It's very different than how I am accustomed to reading cards. Oh, come on, little thing. There we go. All right. All right. So the Thoth or the Toth deck by Crowley. These are the backs. I had this deck. I gave it away because it was like, you know what, I don't think I'm going to be able to learn this, because again, it's like its own kind of system. But I have the book by Milo Duquette, and I actually went to a talk by him, and where he was explaining about the tarot, and just it makes it seem like everything fits like in this perfect like pattern, and I really want to learn about it, but I have not been able to get through that book, even though I have tried a couple times. I just lose interest, but I do think that the artwork is gorgeous. I believe it's artwork by Lady Frida Harris. Yes, Lady Frida Harris. Thank you for putting the artist right on the box. All right. Another US Games deck. So there's just something like the artwork is really phenomenal and magical, and I want to learn more about it. So I wish that I still had my large deck, but it's kind of an expensive deck. So when I went to repurchase it, I just got the smaller deck, which is pretty normal tarot size, but I do like the larger cards because the artwork is just so gorgeous and there's so much detail. I like seeing it in the bigger cards. And so this little gem that I have never ever once used, I have just kind of looked through this deck. This is the Tarot of the Spirit by Pamela and Joyce Eakins. Actually, there you go. And I like the artwork. It's got a lot of like, it seems like movement lines, you know, like it's just very colorful and kind of swirly. Not too much detail, so you can kind of fill it in with your imagination, which I also like. This High Priestess is very intriguing to me. And so, yeah, like I like the artwork. I wouldn't say I was attracted to this deck because of the artwork, although I do like the artwork. I find it interesting. I like kind of like the lines and the shapes and all of that. But what interested me about it is it's a Kabbalah-based deck, and that's something I wanted to learn more about. However, it's such a large topic that I'm not sure when I will actually get around to learning more about that. So we'll kind of have to see. I have the guidebook that goes with this. It's a nice big guidebook, and then I also have, in addition to that, the book the Kabbalah and Tarot of the Spirit. So which is also a very large book. So there's lots to learn with this deck. If I can find the time to take it all in. So, and then here, this is the Death card. It's so interesting. So anyway, I'm excited to work with this deck, but because it's one of those decks, and it comes with like this little overlay, transparent. It has like the Tree of Life with the different spheres on the Tree of Life. So I want to learn how to use that. Like, what do you do with that, or is it just for fun? But because I feel like I have to read the guidebook with that, and it's such a big guidebook. I've been kind of, I think, putting it off because I'm a busy person, you know, like, and it just seems like a lot. So, all right, here's another beautiful deck that somehow I got some glue from inside its little box. I was keeping it in its cardboard box, and when I got it out to do this video, I was like, oh, it's got glue on it. I mean, it's coming off, but I don't know. It slid down in between like the little cardboard holder and the box. Anyway, this is the Druid Tarot by Philip and Stephanie Cargam, illustrated by Will Worthington. It was the artwork by Will Worthington that really what got me interested in this deck. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I really do love it. So much to like about it, and yet I haven't used it. Here's the backs. I haven't used it for, I mean, no other reason than it just hasn't made its way into the rotation. So I don't know. It's like, is this one, do I hold on to it because I want to use it eventually? Like, these are things that I'm gonna have to really think about. So this little deck is the Crystal Tarot by Elizabeth Trevisan. It's a Los Scarabeo deck. And again, I fell in love with the artwork on this one. Look at the backs are just absolutely gorgeous. I love the colors. So beautiful. Just gorgeous. I really want to work with this one more. Like I really, really do. It's kind of like, I don't know, there's just something special about like the colors on that one. They just make me so happy, and yet it's just stayed in its box ever since I got it. I was so excited to get it. I got it. I looked through it. I was so happy. The colors made me happy. And then I was like, oh, okay, that was great. And I put it in its box, and it ended up in my little cabinet of stagnation back there. So I need to figure out how to use some of these decks more often. But I have my deck of the month, and then I have several decks out, and I just tend to use those. So it's a process. So this one is the Fairy Wicca Tarot by Kisma Stepanich, illustrated by Renee Christian Yates. It came in this little box. I am not 100% sure, but I believe back in the day when I wanted this deck, because I have Kisma Stepanich, I have her 2 Fairy Wicca books. Like I wanted this, but it was out of print, and I think it was out of print, and I think my mom found it for me. Maybe it's back in print. I don't know, or maybe it wasn't around print. Let's see. Let's see. Cards. It says cards copyright 98.99 by Kisma Stepanich and Renee Christian Yates. First edition, second printing 2000. So that wasn't that long ago. But anyway, so I haven't ever tried to look them up since then, but I did try to do some readings with these. Here are the backs. I just, you know, they're kind of different. Like, it says Fond the Fairy Queen, Banrian of Usis, which is the Queen of Cups, if I'm not mistaken. And you can kind of get that from the illustration because you've got the Queen there, and you've got like almost like a pot, you know, or a vessel of some sort. But like this is the Tin of Usis, which you can tell is the Ten of Cups. So, you know, there's that, and it's, you know, readable like that, I suppose, but yeah. I didn't ever make it through the entire guidebook or through her books for that matter, and it looks like it says Pentacles almost up there, and it says the 3 of Domin? Oh gosh. yeah, it's an interesting, it's a very interesting deck, and I would love to use this more. It has a lot of sentimental value to me because it was a gift. So I do want to work with it and use it more, but it's like one of those things where, because I'm not familiar with the background and the history of the stories in the deck, I would feel like I have to read the guidebook, and the guidebook, however, is not that long, so maybe this one might make it into the rotation sooner than some of the others, but that's the Fairy Wicca Tarot, which I'm really happy to have, actually. So this little guy is the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot by Louis Martinet and Sally Ann Glassman, I believe, is the artist. So these are the backs. I have it's like kind of a cardboardy, papery cardstock that I'm like super into. I know I could probably bend it really easy, but there's just something about like the feel of these cards. I love them. It's just, there's something about the artwork, Sally Ann Glassman's artwork, that's just magical. I really, really like it. And the guidebook, like how the guidebook is like, is really thick. And so for a long time, I was pulling a card a day and just reading the information that came with it, just to kind of learn more about the beautiful artwork and the stories. There's a lot of information in here. The print is fairly large. You know, it's just, it's been an interesting, it's been really interesting working with this deck, and I would like to continue to pull with it. I actually had this is an interesting story. So I've actually tried to give this away a couple of times. It ended up in the giveaway pile. I went through a period of time where I gave away so many, like just gave them away, just like, here you go, you know, just to people to, you know, it was a weird time where I just thought I just needed to have fewer decks, and I just went through, and ones that I hadn't used in a while, I put in a pile and I was giving them away. And this ended up in that pile 2 different times when I had like a purge, and it just never ended up, this one just never ended up in the actual place, either because like we didn't make it that day, or it's just kind of interesting. And finally, after the second time of this one kind of got out of the pile and the other ones were donated and this one ended up staying, I was like, you know what? I think you're just gonna stay here. Like, why don't you just stay? Like a possession. But you need, you know, it's interesting because reading about it just brings this deck to life. So it's not one that I would read without the guidebook. And I don't think I've actually done a reading per se. Just pulled the cards and read about it. So yeah, that's that deck. All right, so the New Era Elements Tarot. This one is interesting. I love the artwork. There's a little guidebook, which is a pretty good, you know, little guidebook. It's got a pretty decent amount of information in there. Not a ton, but for a little guidebook, it's fine. The artwork is just absolutely amazing. This is by Eleanor Piper, I want to say, and I love her work. It's just so amazing and detailed. But some of them, like this one, involves like a needle if you're squeamish, like that. Some of these are, and this is the 3 of Swords, and like, I don't know, that one, I'll see, like, this is gorgeous, but some of them, like that needle one, like, are hard for me to, like these, the court cards, I mean, look at that, the portraits are amazing, and I really, 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 I love this Judgment card. I really want to use this deck. I mean, come on, it's gorgeous. It's like, just like this is interesting too. Let me see if I can find some of the ones that there's just, okay. And for whatever reason, they must have all congregated somewhere in the deck where I can't find them, but there's several cards that are challenging, you know. I think because it's kind of quite a realistic, I mean, it's obviously artwork, but it looks very realistic. So like the animal ones, there's one with a monkey in here too that's really challenging. That one is always making me a little sad. The double card is a very challenging one for me. So many good ones though. Like, come on, victory. Oh, this one. Like, oh God, that's just. Oh, like, it's just something about seeing, you know, animals being hurt. Like, it's hard for me to see that card. And that is the 5. See, it's hard. And also the little, is that the earth? No. Is that 5 of earth? I don't want to spend too much time on these because of, like, be here forever. Already pretty far into it. Yeah, 5 of earth. Okay, so oh, I don't know. That's just, it's just hard for me to deal with seeing animals like being hurt and stuff. Of course, there's this one that's kind of challenging. So anyway, several challenging cards in here, and so I kind of put it aside for now, even though there's so many gorgeous ones. And I haven't used it, even though I really wanted to use that one. And so, see if I'll try to do 3 more I have in this pile. This is the Llewellyn Tarot. Okay, so Llewellyn Tarot Companion by Anna Marie Ferguson. I really like her Legend, the Arthurian Tarot. And so I got this, and I've never used it, although I would really like to. This has, I think that the colors in this deck are just more like richer. I think they're just richer and more vibrant than in Legend, the Arthurian Tarot. That one's kind of just a very pale colors, although I still love the artwork in that, and I love, of course, the subject matter. So I've actually used that one more often, Legend, the Arthurian Tarot. And this one, I think I actually enjoyed the artwork even more than the other deck, and I just haven't. Oh, look, Hierophant's Taliesin. And I just haven't. Oh, look at that. I just love the images. Okay, but I do really want to work with this deck, so we'll see how that goes. It's so hard for me to part with decks because I've given so many away and then regretted it and wanted to have them again. And in some cases, like if I've given a deck away and then later something like, oh, I want to work with that deck again, and then it's not available. That's such a bummer. So this is the Pamela Coleman Smith commemorative set, and this has the Centennial, the Smith-Waite Centennial Edition, which I do not read with, but I wanted to have a version just for study, and so I got this one. This is which I appreciate. I appreciate this deck more. Rider-Waite Smith was one of the first. It was the first deck I ever had, and I gave it away as soon as I got another deck because the artwork was just, it didn't click with me, and especially like cards like this that had a lot of yellow and it was really bright yellow. It just, I don't know, it just was jarring to me, and this I feel is a little bit more muted. As far as those really bright colors, and I appreciate that, and so I really like this edition, and I've been learning a little bit more about Pamela Coleman Smith, and so that's, I think it's kind of cool to have her deck. So yeah, that's more of a study deck, and maybe one day I will use it for readings, but it's nice to have on hand, so I'll probably keep that one. This one is, of course, The Wild Unknown by Kim Crans. It's a super popular deck that I thought it was so weird because I just never clicked with it. I bought it and I was like, yes, I'm going to read this. I didn't buy it for the longest time because everybody had it, and I'm like, I have this weird thing where if everybody has something, like, I go out of my way to avoid it. It's some sort of block, even if it's something I would enjoy. I think sometimes I do that. So I avoided this for the longest time. I finally bought the mass market edition, and I love the cardstock, and I love Kim Crans' artwork, and so there's so much to like about this deck. And I just didn't click with it, and then I found so many people online that also had the same issues. I never knew that other people, you know, had felt that way about this deck. However, I am such a big fan of the artwork that I think I'm going to continue to try to work with this deck, because there have been several decks that I did not click with at one point that when I come back to try again later, I have worked with. So I don't know, like some of these I'm like, gorgeous, and other ones I'm like, I like that artwork, but then I have to stop and think, like, okay, 9 of Wands, and then go through, I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of thinking involved in this deck, and I think that's what put me off a little bit, but I love her artwork so much. She has a children's book that I got for my kids, and the artwork is amazing. It's like an ABC book, and it was after I got that children's book that I was like, all right, I'm getting her deck. And not only that, I think I'm going to get the Oracle deck. I don't know, I can't explain myself sometime. I'm like, I haven't been able to use this one, but I've got to have the matching Oracle deck because it's pretty. All right, so let's see. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It looks like that was 12 decks for this first video. It's already pretty long, so thank you so much if you've watched this far, and we'll see how many I can get through in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.